Welcome. Bruchim Habayim. Hanukkah Sameach. We're very impressed to see all these young men who, at a difficult time in the world, came to Eretz Israel to learn Torah, to grow in Torah and Yirat Shamayim at this very special time of Hanukkah, which has very deep messages for us. You prayed Arvit already? So you said Al Nisim. In Al Nisim, the only mention is of the miracle in the battlefield. It doesn't say anything about Nes Pach HaShemen, about the miracle with the oil. At the end it says, Achar kach ba'u banecha lidbir betecha, v'pinu et echalecha, v'tiharu et mikdashecha, v'edliku nerot b'hatzrot kodshecha. They lit the menorah. Big deal. Where's the miracle? Nothing. But the Gemara says, my Hanukkah. What's Hanukkah about? They say on the 25th of Kislev, when they came, the Hashmonaim, won their battles with the Greeks, they came into the temple, there was enough oil only for one day, and they put their trust in Hashem, and they lit, and it lit for 8 days. And that's Hanukkah. And that's all we commemorate. If we were commemorating the victory on the battlefield, it should have been something different. It should have been like we make military parades and walk around with guns and tanks and whatever we won the war. Nothing. Hanukkah was instated about the miracle of the Nes Pach HaShemen. Obviously, the Greeks wanted to uproot Torah. They wanted to uproot Torah from Israel. They went crazy with the Torah of Am Israel. They hated it. They are scientific people, philosophic people. We know all the great philosophers were Greeks. They look down on these strange people who believe in God, like fairy tales. They do Brit Milah, doesn't make sense. And they say it sanctifies them. Nonsense. Keep Shabbat, Hagim, Rosh Chodesh. Live holy lives. The Greeks had philosophy, they had culture, they had science. Everything had to be rationalistic. Everything had to be logical. You tell them things is not logical. Today is a holy day. What do you mean a holy day? Bring a barometer and let's see. It says holy day. It says hot, cold. It's not going to tell you it's a holy day or not a holy day. When they went into the Temple Mount, they knew the temple was a treasure house. Warehouses full of gold and silver and precious stones. They should have gone straight in to grab the treasures. But what did they do? Nothing of the sort. They ran after the olive oil. They went Mijnun after the olive oil, running after the olive oil. V'timu et kol hashmanim. People think, how many jars were there? Maybe 10 jars, 50. There were thousands of barrels of olive oil. And they went after the olive oil to make it tameh. What crazy people. No. Hazal said that every day there was a miracle in lighting the menorah. The Kohen used to put the same amount of oil in all 7 lamps. The next day, all were extinguished. 3 to the right, 3 to the left. The central lamp never went out. Miracle. They can't bear this thing. Miracle? That proves something. That proves there's a God. all the decrees were to uproot Torah, to make the people non-spiritual. They can't bear spirituality. They're against spirituality. We do a mitzvah, we say, Asher kiddeshanu b'mitzvotav. Hashem has sanctified us with His mitzvot. The mitzvot make us holy. They don't accept this. And that's why it says, V'shakiham toratach v'la'aviram mehukeret tzunach. They say, we have no problem with the Torah. We have no problem with the customs, Jewish customs. You like these quaint doings? Carry on. You like reading your history book? Read. We also have history books. We also have customs. But the fact that it's Toratach, is the Torah of Hashem and connects us with Hashem? No way. V'ha'aviram mehukeret tzunach. The commandments that you gave them to sanctify them, no way. They have to uproot it all. They said, look, we translated the Bible. We made it a bestseller. We like your history books, quaint stories and all of that. But the Torah which sanctifies us, they're against. The holiness of Torah, the holiness of the Jewish nation, the spirituality of Am Yisrael, this is what they were against. They were fighting spirituality. This is not Haman or Hitler. They didn't come to wipe everyone off the map of the face of the earth. No, we love you. You're great people. Be like us, enjoy life. You like history, read. You like customs, do. But holiness we don't accept. Parnasah, you want to be rich? Work hard. The Jew is going to the marketplace with his buffalo, pulling his cart, and he's thinking, Hashem, give me parnasah. Or he's plowing his field and the cow is pulling it. Hashem, let this year be a blessed year. We should have lots of crops. No. Kitvu lachem al keren hashor. Ein li chelek be'elokei Israel. You know, today they have these bumper stickers on everything. So, I have no portion in the Jewish God. They're against the Jewish God. Gods, we have many gods. The Greeks had God for everything. A God for war, a God for love, a God for wealth, a God for whatever one. Many gods, we love gods. But this God interferes with your life and tells you, trust in me and I'll give you parnasah, and if you don't trust in me, no parnasah. Whoever heard of such a thing? The biggest insult to God, like saying a great emperor spends his life playing with an anthill. Hashem has time for all this nonsense. He has to run the world, give parnasah for people. That's why the Goyim say, Ram al kol Goyim Hashem, al hashamayim kivodo. The kavod of Hashem is to be in the heavens, not here running around in this world. And we answer, Mi ka Hashem Elokeinu. Hamakbihi lashaved. Hashem is in the heaven. But hamashpili lirot b'shamayim u'ba'aretz. He comes into the earth and looks. Mekimi me'afar dal, me'ashpot yarim ebyon. V'hoshivim nidibim. He runs the world. Hashgaha prati, they don't believe. The Mefarshim asks, there was no reason why they should have wanted to live with this one jar of pure olive oil. The halakha is tuma hutra b'tzibur. If the whole tzibur